For this DVD, we've done all the scripting that we're going to do. I just wanted to take a little bit more time to, in a final chapter, discuss things like script directories, environment variables, and user setup mel, because they can help your life a lot when you know how to use them. The first question you might ask yourself is, where are my scripts stored, or what is a good idea where to store my scripts? Now, there is two main places that Maya stores scripts. That is, if you installed Maya normally in this directory, these are all the scripts that come with Maya, and it is a very, very bad idea to adjust these scripts or to mess around with them. They are, however, invaluable to learn from it. I'm still learning a lot from these scripts because they are basically they make up the whole of the interface of Maya, for example. So if you want to adjust something in the interface of Maya, be it making extra windows or adjusting your channel box or adjusting your attribute editor or making extra drop down menus or like adjusting marking menus and things like that, you have to take a look in there and you have to try to find out which script does what, and so you can change it. The other place where scripts are stored are in your internal user script directory. That depends on user per user. If you don't know your script directory, what you can do is you can use a command which is called internal var, internal variable, internal var, and then I think internal var, yes, user script directory, like so. If you execute that, I have to write it correctly. If you execute that, you can see what your script directory is. In my case, it is this place. That is where my scripts are. This is important because the scripts in this directory, together with the scripts that I mentioned before, are loaded when you start Maya, which means that all the scripts that are located in there, you don't have to load those procedures into Maya's memory. Every time a script's in there, it will get loaded. Obviously, it's a good idea, especially if your computer is not that powerful, to keep the content of that folder as low as possible, because every script that is in there has to be loaded. So the more, although it's mine is pretty big, I can open mine. You can see that in my scripts directory there's a lot of stuff in there, because I put the stuff in there in a separate folder. Though I put the stuff in there that I'm working on as well. And I never experienced any slowdown or something like that. But just to tell you that is the stuff that gets loaded. Now, there is something that you can see that I have directories in there. They will get loaded as well. But if you would want to load another directory on another place on your hard drive, there is something that you can do, and that are you can set environment variables. And that is actually the next part that I wanted to discuss. What are environment variables and how do I modify them? Well, environment variables are a useful way to modify the standard path locations and behaviors used by Maya. For example, already is that my projects are in a folder or in a place on my hard drive called projects. They are not very deep inside, where is it, documents and settings, my documents, Maya. It's much too deep for me. Much too much clicking, so I just set an environment variable, and my projects are now on Y projects. Okay, how do you do that? I'll show you that in a second. But what is maybe important is that you go to your help and that you type in, not in the mel commands, but in the Maya help itself, you type in environment variables. Maybe environment variables, like so. And there is a list somewhere with all the environment variables that you can set. Okay, somewhere in the help, I don't know where it is. There's quite a bit, and you can actually declare your own. Now, as it says here in setting environment variables using the Maya env, there's two ways of setting environment variables. If I jump back to my PowerPoint presentation here. There's two ways of setting it: the standard operating system commands and editing the Maya environment file. Now, the second one is advised. Okay, you normally always edit the Maya environment file. I'll show you in a second how to do that. and then you just add the environment variables to that. But there's one important exception to that. That is the Maya app dir environment variable. If you want to do like I just did, so your whole projects, and it's not just your projects, it's also your preferences and your market menus and your scripts and things like that, are located by default to another position on your hard drive, then you have to set it the hard way, so to speak. You have to do that through the operating system. And how do you do that? Well, you just go to your desktop, you right click on my computer, you go to properties, you go to advanced, and then you go to environment variables. Okay, so again, right click on my computer, go to properties, go to advanced, and then go to environment variables. User variables here, you can see that I set Maya app dir to Y. Okay, how do I know that the name of the variable is called Maya app dir, which stands for Maya application directory? Well, you have to look that up in the help. There's the whole list of environment variables right there. Okay, you can see that there is another one in here, which is the difference in between the environment variables is that these are just for the local user that is logged on, which is me right now, and these, the system variables, are the environment variables for everything, for all users. Now you see that most of these environment variables have nothing to do with Maya, right? This is an operating system thing. It's not really a Maya thing, although there are certain environment variables like Maya app dir which are specifically made for Maya. Okay, so I just set that here. How do you create that? Well, you just click new, you type what you want, you type the variable name and the variable value, and then you just hit OK, and then it will be added here. Now, like I said, the Maya app dir is actually the only environment variable that you would do the hard way. The other environment variables you set in your Maya env file. A Maya env file is nothing more than a notepad file or a script file that is located by default in your preferences directory. So if I were to go into 6.0, which is where my preferences are, there is a Maya env file there. If it is not there, you can just create it. Okay, you just create it, you say maya.env, and you make sure that you the first letter of Maya is a capital. And then how does it work in there? So it's just a notepad file. The Maya scripts path and the Maya plugin path are the environment variable, and then you say equals, and you point it to the path that you want to be added to the plugin path or to the script path. If there is more than one path, you separate it with a semicolon. For example, I have my Maya script part, so by default Maya, every time it starts, it will load up the scripts in this directory. Hold on, let me just jump to that chapter. So by default Maya will load the scripts into this directory, this one, and the current user scripts directory, which in my case was 6.0 scripts, right? Now, whatever directories or whatever paths you add to this Maya env file, they will be loaded as well. For example, I have plugins and scripts. One of it is called Stroika Dynamics. Okay, instead of copying all that stuff into my local script directory, I just add this to the environment variable, and when Maya starts, it will also load this one, and it will also load this one, and it will also load this one. Okay, same thing goes with plugin paths. Stuff like that gets loaded when Maya starts. Now, this is very easy if you have a lot of plugins to install over the network, for example, because you can just install it once on one machine, and then what you do is you copy the environment variable to all machines. Sorry, not the environment variable, the Maya env file. You copy that to all machines, and you make sure that instead of D here, you have the name of the computer, obviously, so it can find Maya can find the plugins and the scripts over the network. Okay, and then the last thing is the user setup mel. User setup mel is a script which is located in your scripts directory. So if you want to know your scripts directory, you just type in internal var with the flag name user script directory. If it is not there, you can just create it. You just call it user setup mel, and then you have it. What you can put in there, everything that is in there, Maya runs any commands in the user setup mel whenever it starts up. So again, this is an additional way of having scripts or commands run when Maya starts up. I'll show you what mine looks like. Mine looks like this. There's not much in it because most of the stuff I do, I just put in my scripts directory. But it's very easy to put some script jobs in. For example, we'll discuss script jobs in the next DVD, but it doesn't have to be a script job, but just any commands or any procedures. When Maya starts, this gets loaded. Okay, so also in the next DVD I'll show you some more examples of this. Okay, but it's important to know that these things are there: scripts directory, environment variables, and user setup, so you can use them to your advantage or to the advantage of the production. Okay, that's all I have to say for this DVD. Obviously there's the next DVD in this bundle, and this is just the foundation, and the next DVD will really get busy. Hope you learned something. Okay, thank you.